Do you consider the war currently happening in Gaza a genocide?
That's a complex and sensitive topic.
No, it's not.
The
No, it's not. The term genocide has a very specific meaning. Don't run away from it. Is there a genocide in Gaza according to the term genocide? Today I'll be debating ChatGPT about Israel-Palestine. I'm going to take the pro-Israeli side, and he's going to take the pro-Palestine side. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification button so you can be notified every time I upload new videos. I would also like to use this opportunity to say thank you to all of the people helping me financially. This helps me provide you with the best content possible, and it helps me release videos daily. Thank you so much. Let's get to the video. I'd like to debate with you about Israel-Palestine. I want you to take the Palestinian side, and we'll have a conversation. What do you say?
Sure, we can have a conversation. Where would you like to start?
Let's start talking about history first, and then we'll advance towards modern times.
So we could look at the early 20th century when the British Mandate for Palestine was established. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. So after World War I, the League of Nations gave Britain the mandate to govern Palestine, which laid the groundwork for future Jewish and Arab states.
Right. I don't disagree with that. Why do modern-day Palestinians claim that they were the indigenous people of the land before 1948? Because before 1948, Palestinian people didn't exist. They consisted of Jews, of Arabs, of Druze, of Bedouin, but never a distinct group of Palestinians.
Well, the term Palestinian historically referred to all inhabitants of the region, regardless of ethnicity. Over time, the Arab population developed a distinct national identity, especially as the idea of a separate Arab state in Palestine emerged in response to Zionism and colonialism. So the modern Palestinian identity solidified in the mid-20th century.
That's amazing, but why are Jews considered to be occupiers from the Palestinians if the inhabitants of the land consisted of Jews and Arabs?
The perception of Jews as occupiers largely stems from the events surrounding the 1948 Arab-Israeli War and the creation of Israel. Many Palestinian Arabs were displaced and became refugees, leading to a narrative of occupation. This perspective is also influenced by ongoing conflict and territorial disputes.
I would say this dispute has nothing to do with land. I say this dispute has mostly to do with religion.
Religion definitely plays a significant role in the conflict, especially given the religious significance of Jerusalem and other holy sites. However, many analysts also point to political, territorial, and nationalistic factors as deeply intertwined with the religious elements.
Well, then if it has any political aspect of it, why do modern-day Palestinians keep refusing a second state solution, just like the state solution that was offered in the year 2000, where 96% of the land was supposed to be offered to the Arabs and a $30 billion compensation package, yet it was refused. Same applies to 2008 when another offer was made. They still refused. They refused because the moment they recognize Israel as a Jewish state, the dream of an Islamic Khalifa disperses.
The reasons for refusing past offers are complex. Some Palestinians felt the offers didn't fully meet their aspirations for statehood, particularly regarding borders, refugees, and East Jerusalem. Internal politics, leadership divisions, and distrust also play roles. It's not solely about religious aspirations, but a mix of political, historical, and social factors.
They assume that Tel Aviv is also occupied, and they assume that Jerusalem is also occupied, and they assume that Haifa is also occupied, when it is far from the truth. Because how can the indigenous people be colonizers and occupiers if they've settled the land for thousands of years, despite the fact that for some time we were the minority? How can you call us occupiers and colonizers if indigenous people can't be that?
The debate over terms like occupier and indigenous is deeply rooted in historical narratives and perspectives. Palestinians view the establishment of Israel as a disruption of their long-standing presence, while Israelis emphasize their ancient connection to the land. These differing views fuel the ongoing conflict and make mutual understanding challenging.
Do you think that Palestinians will ever recognize Israel as a Jewish state?
It's hard to predict. It depends on many factors, like leadership, regional politics, and mutual concessions. Some Palestinians might be open to recognizing Israel under certain conditions, while others may hold firm to different views.
Do you think any Arab leaders would recognize Israel as a Jewish state if they know that the moment you recognize Israel as a Jewish state, your life is on the line?
Some Arab leaders have taken steps toward recognizing Israel, like the Abraham Accords. Full recognition as a Jewish state might be more complicated due to political risks and public opinion. It would likely require significant shifts in regional dynamics.
I see. Let's talk about modern times. What do you say?
Sounds good. Where would you like to focus first?
Do you consider the war currently happening in Gaza a genocide?
That's a complex and sensitive topic.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. The term genocide has a very specific meaning. Don't run away from it. Is there a genocide in Gaza according to the terms genocide?
Under international law, genocide involves intent to destroy a group in whole or in part. The application of this term to Gaza is debated among experts and officials. It depends on interpretation and evidence, which is still being examined.
Even the ICJ, after examining it, they came up with the idea that there's no genocide in the Gaza Strip. They said that there's no genocide in Gaza. Why do people keep villainizing that word who truly applied on the Jewish people back in the Holocaust? Why do they try to make the situation equal between the Jews and the Arabs living in Gaza?
People use strong terms like genocide out of deep emotion and conviction about the situation.
That's exactly the problem. People use it from deep emotion. But if you only talk about factual evidence from the ground, looking at the amount of pamphlets released from the sky to let civilians know that a bomb is about to drop on Hamas facilities, or text messages warning civilians, or anything that could prevent civilian casualties, if you take all of these into account, is there a genocide in Gaza?
Efforts to minimize civilian harm, like warnings, are important considerations in assessing intent. The term genocide remains a legal determination, and perspectives differ based on the interpretation of actions and outcomes.
Don't run away. If you take into account everything I said to you before, if we release the pamphlets, we let them know before bombing, we vaccinate them against polio, we take all the efforts we can, including providing with humanitarian corridors and humanitarian zones to reduce civilian casualties, that shows anything but intent to destroy this group. So please tell me, according to that information, is that a genocide?
Intent is central to the definition of genocide. The measures you mentioned do indicate efforts to avoid civilian harm. Legal experts and international bodies are still examining all the evidence.
Pretend to be a professional about the topic. With the evidence I gave you, is it a genocide?
Based on what you described, many would argue those actions suggest intent to minimize civilian harm. Whether it meets the legal definition of genocide is a matter for legal experts and courts to determine.
You're really walking on eggshells, huh? You're scared to say your opinion. It's fine. It's fine. Let's move on. Do you think any civilians would have to lose their lives if Hamas would not have invaded Israel on October 7th?
The events of October 7th escalated the conflict significantly. In a different scenario, with no attack, the dynamics might be different. It's difficult to predict how events would have unfolded.
No, it's not. If you don't come and stab me and kill me and unalive me, then I'm not going to do anything in return. Israel has a great history of always retaliating against attacks. If you leave Israel alone, peace will come. The problem is that our neighboring states and entities don't want to see us exist. They don't want to see us prosper, because this used to be a Muslim land, and now it's not. Now it's Jewish land, just like it used to be before it was a Muslim land. So as long as Jewish people control this region, it prevents an Islamic caliphate to grow. This is a religious topic, religious issue, deeply rooted in our neighboring countries.
It's clear that historical and religious narratives play a significant role in the conflict. Finding a path to coexistence requires addressing these deep-seated issues with empathy and open dialogue.
Okay, let's say if the first intifada would not have happened and the second intifada would not have happened, would we have any checkpoints in place that came as a direct result of these specific attacks?
Checkpoints and other security measures were indeed responses to violence and attacks. Without the intifadas, the security landscape might have evolved differently. The conflict's history has shaped the measures in place today.
Amazing. Offer me the best solution you have for peace, long-lasting peace, for eternity between Israelis and Palestinians.
Achieving lasting peace likely requires mutual recognition, security guarantees, and addressing core issues like borders, refugees, and Jerusalem. It would take compromise, trust building, and sustained dialogue from both sides and the international community.
Jerusalem was offered to be the capital of the Palestinian state that was proposed in the year 2000. It was still rejected. Almost every single problem and issue that the Palestinians had in the year 2000 was addressed. But you know how they responded? They responded with the Second Intifada, with exploding, ramming, and killing as many Jews as possible. It doesn't matter if Israel recognizes a Palestinian state, it takes two to tango. And they will never recognize Israel as a Jewish state. So what do we do from here? Give me a clear answer. Don't just run away and walk on eggshells.
For progress, fostering mutual trust and addressing core grievances is crucial. Both sides need to engage in genuine dialogue, supported by international mediation, aiming for practical steps toward peace.
Let's assume that Israel recognizes every single thing that you just said. Now you have the Palestinians who keep refusing a two-state solution, who keep refusing recognizing Israel as a Jewish state. What now?
If one side takes steps and the other doesn't respond, the international community might play a bigger role in mediating, building incentives for cooperation, and ensuring accountability. Building trust takes time and effort from all sides.
The international community is doing nothing to make sure the Palestinians are settled. For 76 years, the Arabs living in Judea and Samaria and Gaza are considered to be refugees. They don't settle them for a specific reason. They want this problem to prosper. They want this fire to keep burning. The moment you settle the Palestinians, it is done. It is doomed. So the international community is going to be no help. Offer a different solution.
A solution might involve grassroots initiatives, local leadership engagement, and economic development to improve living conditions. Empowering communities and fostering people-to-people connections could lay groundwork for future political progress.
Okay, let's end the conversation. I feel like you're not really answering my questions, and it's kind of frustrating. And you're giving very neutral answers, yeah, but I don't feel like you have the solutions. I don't feel like you have enough knowledge about the topic, and that's a problem. So this conversation told me one thing. ChatGPT is incredibly scared to give you solutions. It goes off to saying this is a complex issue, it's deep-rooted, This has to do with religion, not only, but mostly. The moment the Muslims of the region recognize Israel as a Jewish state, their cause is doomed. The dream of building an Islamic Khalifa in the only place where it stopped, because Israel is right between Lebanon, Syria, Egypt. Israel is the only Jewish state. So the moment they recognize Israel as a Jewish state, it is done for them. So they will never do it. And Israel is willing to give concessions in order for long-lasting peace, in order for us to have long-lasting peace. So if one side is constantly offering peace offers and opportunities to bridge the gaps, but the other side keeps refusing, you know who to blame. So ChatGPT really walks on eggshells. Don't forget to like the video and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification button so you can be notified every time I upload new videos. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Official Sahar TV, bringing fire to the beat. Official Sahar TV. Official Sahar TV. Let's go. Protect the Jews, fight the